Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, the high performance mentor, and I'm here to lead you to become the best version of yourself. This show raises the bar for all the motorsport enthusiasts. Holding it wide open, it's just what we do. Being a good person is who we are, and living our lives to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. Yo, keep this shit real as always. But let me ask you something that you might probably not admit to it. Are you scared of what might go wrong? Because that's something that a lot of us men go through as leaders, as providers, as motherfuckers who push the limits, right? Like, are you scared of what might go wrong? Or are you fired up about what could go right? Because so many times I've been there and I let my mind go down these fucking paths and it's negativity and fucking darkness and it focuses on everything that could go wrong. And as I've evolved, as I've learned to reframe the situation, as I've learned to change the perspective, I've fired myself up and focused on actually what could go right. You see, the other day, last week, I should actually say, dog, I was like a couple rides into the 636. I got my Cowie back running after 3 years of it being away, of 3 years of it being broken, of 3 years of not riding that bike. And I fixed it back up, and I still don't have a crash cage on it. I really don't. That's the next thing that I need to buy. Right? But I don't have a crash cage on it. And I didn't want to, the thing was, I was like, oh no, I need to wait till I got the crash cage because if I fall, I don't want to break the bike. I just rebuilt it. And that's truth, right? What could go wrong if I started stunning this bike again? It's the fucking reality. No crash cage. If I fall, it flips, it tumbles, could go completely wrong. Because the last time that I rode that bike, straight up, I snapped my scapula in half. I did an episode about this last week. Like, it was tough. And so, yeah, the fear was there. It was real, right? But that's why I say a couple of rides in. It took me a couple of rides to get to this, like 3 rides. Like once when I fucking built it, I went out, and that was what I did the episode last week about. The fear that I was feeling. I was like fucking shaking, all this shit. And then I went to the lot one day, I rode for a little bit, I still had a lot of fear in me. I was, getting back into the tricks slowly but surely. But then this next time, the third time that I went, it was right, like literally, it was the next day. I was like, nah, I started feeling the progress again. I started feeling the muscle memory. I started feeling like everything clicking again. And I was like, yo, we're going back tomorrow. And then I remember it was a Thursday, then I went back Friday, 2 days in a row. And the fear started rolling up again, and I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna fucking just face this shit straight on. Like, I started riding, and I started rolling, and I started feeling it. And I decided, like, I was like, bro, I was like getting back in the zone, right? And then I was like, yo, let's go for some circle wheelies. I haven't done circle wheelies, bro, in like, I'd say 3 years, but someone had lent me a bike, like middle of the way. We were at a spot, we had stopped to hang out, to regroup, and I was on the 1000, and someone there was on a Cowie. They're like, yo, do you think you still do some circle wheelies? Like, I don't know. And I tried, and it took me like 3 or 4 times, but I fucking did it, right? And so it hasn't been 3 years. It's been 3 years since I've done it on my bike. But that day, I was like, holy shit, I still got it. And I remembered that day, right? And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to knock out some circle wheelies tonight. And right as I went to lean into this shit, my mind went straight into, holy fucking shit, Randy, what are you doing? You don't have a crash cage. You just rebuilt the bike. What if you crash? What if you go wrong? You're gonna mess up the bike. This is a bad idea. All this shit that could really happen. Legitimate excuses of why I shouldn't try circle wheelies on that bike. But bro, I was fucking in the zone. Like, yo, I started rolling stoppies and I ran out of room in the lot. I truly did it. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to use this momentum, this fire that I'm feeling right now to fucking help me break through the fear of getting back into the circles. And so I went to try it again, bam, and I backed off. Not because I couldn't do it, but because my mind was literally already crashing before my body ever did. And I was like, nah. I regrouped, I got my breath going, I got myself hyped, I put a good song on, and I went for it again. Boom. Half a circle. Bam, I put it down. All right, I got this. I went back again, boom, 3/4 of a circle. And sure enough, my brain, I was turning the bike. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna go around my father. Boom, I held back, I held it, fucking put it down. All right. I go back again. I was like, yo, I got this shit, dog. Just focus. And right away, my mind was like, oh, what if you crash? What if it goes wrong? You're gonna fuck up the bike? Nah. And I literally was talking myself through this shit. Nah, fuck that. You've been doing this. You did it the other time, like a year and a half ago, without even doing it for a long time, and you pulled it out. Of course you're gonna do this. This is your bike. This is what you do. This is your controls. This is set up just for you. I fucking went into that shit. Boom, popped it up. Went into the circle. Just focused on me. Locked in. Like, then this is the thing, target fixation. If you're fixating on what could go wrong, on what is gonna happen, all this bullshit, then it's gonna happen. But I focused on who I am, how long I've been riding, I could do this shit, this is like clockwork for me, and I fucking went into it and I turned, I fucking just hyped, used the momentum that I had from that night of rolling, and I went into it, bro, and I popped out like 6, 7, maybe 8 circle wheelies in one shot. And then when I went to, I was like, oh shit, now I'm in it. And I realized I was doing circle wheelies. I was like, oh fuck, I'm doing it. And my mind right away started, and I was like, nah. And boom, I locked in, stay concentrated, doing circle wheelies, wham. And then I was like, oh shit, now it's time to get out. Boom, pulled the clutch in, got out of it. Straight. No damage, no nothing. Fucking just hype. And I proved to myself, which was the most important guy that you need to prove to yourself, that I can actually do it, because I knew I had it in me. I was just letting the fear of what could happen, what could go wrong, hold me back from that next level. And so, bro, your mind will always default to protection. Straight up. That's just how we're built. It will never default to progression. It will never default to what could go right. It will always default to what could go wrong, because it's trying to protect you. You see, your brain is wired to keep you safe. It's not wired to help you grow. It's wired to keep you alive, to keep you safe, to keep you away from harm. And so, of course, it's going to remember the crash. Of course, it's going to replay the pain that I felt. Of course, it's going to predict the worst scenarios of what could happen, because that is survival mode. But instead, I realized that, yo, if I want to level up, my brain is going to say, nah, don't risk it. But I need to be willing to push past that. If I want to try again, my brain is gonna say, hey, remember last time what happened? But I need to focus on how many other times I've actually pulled it off. And then so what happens next? If you let your brain go down that bad road, that negativity of all the things that are gonna try to protect you, you're gonna hesitate. You're gonna miss the opportunity. And when you ride scared, you actually ride worse. You actually could get hurt even worse than you would if you feel confident, if you're in the zone, if you're really not thinking and you're just acting. Straight up, that's the truth. Because if you listen to your fear without actually challenging it, my brother, you're gonna stay stuck in the past version of yourself. And if I would have let that fear hold me back because I didn't have a crash cage yet, because, well, I don't wanna fuck up my bike, because I didn't wanna get hurt, all this fucking bullshit, because I rode my bike to the lot, and what if I can't ride it home, and all this shit, yo, I was gonna stay stuck in that past version of myself, and instead I pushed through it, and I uncovered back the warrior that I am. I uncovered back the skills that I knew I had inside of me. And so what you focus on, my bro, it expands. So choose your target wisely. Like, I knew I had to make an episode about this. When I was on riding home, I was like, yo, I fucking did it. I pushed past the fear. I knew I had it in me the whole time. I just didn't let the fear hold me back. Fear grows when you focus on failure. On the contrary, confidence grows when you focus on execution. Because here's the thing about it. You don't got to believe yourself to take the first step, but you got to be willing to take the first step in order to create the belief in yourself. Straight up. Your first attempts, you're going to be thinking about the crash. But as you follow through with it, you're going to notice that you actually will pull it off. Your mind is going to lock into the negativity outcome by default. That's just how we're built. So what did I do? I hit the reset button. I realigned myself. I took a little break. I controlled my breathing. I shifted my energy. I played some hype music. And actually, before I played some hype music, before I shifted my energy, I actually said a prayer. I reminded myself how long I've been writing. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. And then I played some hype music. And I realized that I shift my energy. I shift my focus. And I spoke myself truth. I have been doing this for a very long fucking time. This is what I do. This is who I am. And that's not hype. That's literally identity reinforcement. And that shift that happened right there, woo, man, I can't wait to go ride again. The shift that went from what if I crash to what if I nail this? Like, that's where everything changed. And guess what? I fucking nailed it. 3 times just riding back that bike, I'm almost to where I was. Why? Because I've been working on building the man that could do the things that I'm saying I'm doing. Why is it that lately, through the last couple months, I've been riding way less but can continue to improve? Because I've built myself into the man who shows up no matter what. Literally evolving, literally growing, literally becoming someone who I was never before. That shit right there has changed everything for my life. Because confidence comes back through execution. Not through the time. I guess I will actually say, when you execute long enough and you do it consistent enough, that your confidence will build itself just naturally, right? But you don't wait to feel ready, my bro. You create readiness through action. Because if I was waiting to feel ready, like typically everyone's like, yo, don't do it, bro. You don't have a cage. Yo, just chill. Like, no, just take it easy. You know, just go slow at it, bro. And guess what? None of those guys there, and they're my homies. I have mad love for them. But none of those guys there could ride how I ride. And of course they were saying, yo, take it slow, take it easy, you know, but that's just not how I roll. I fucking knew that I had it in me. I knew that, yeah, I've been off for 3 years, but guess what? My skills haven't erased. My skills were just dormant. They were sleeping. And so yes, the fear was popping up, but I buried that motherfucker. Fear was just there to try to keep me safe, to try to keep me from getting hurt. And guess what? I didn't let it. I went again. And bam! Fucking knocked out fucking circle wheelies. Bam! I fucking knocked it out. No cage, no nothing. And I pulled out of the circle wheelie, clutched that bitch in, and then wham, 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 wham. Fucking badass. Shit wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was just that I unlocked the ability that I already knew I had. And the fear was holding me back from unlocking that. The fear wanted me to play small. The fear of people who don't do that shit. If I would have listened to them, if I would have let people who don't know how to do the things that I was doing, of course I wouldn't have knocked it out. And now, I guarantee you I could go do it right now. On the first try, on the first attempt. And so, yo, I never lost it. I really didn't. I just stopped trusting it. That's real talk right there, dog. And the only way back into it was through execution under pressure. So my question for you, dog, as we wrap up this episode is, where in your life are you focusing on what could go wrong instead of what could actually go right? Like, think about that, because it's just our human nature. We automatically default to the negativity, to what could go wrong, to the protection mode, because our mind is wired to keep us safe. But where in your life are you focusing on what could go wrong instead of focusing on what could go right, my bro? And then my challenge for you is this week, I just want you to identify one area in your life where fear has been holding you back. I want you to shift your focus from risk to outcome. Take one bold action. Not reckless, but intentional. And I promise you, you will find a new level of yourself. Because, brother, fear will always be there. It really will be. But the difference between the man who stays stuck and the man who actually levels up is that one chooses focus on failure, and the other one, he chooses to execute despite of the fear. Despite of things could go wrong. Despite of, I don't know, it could go wrong, but you know what? It also could go right. And so which one are you going to focus on? Just know that you didn't lose it, bro, because I Could have easily let the fear uphold me. I could have easily let the fear hold me back, and I could have easily said, nah, I fucking lost it. I gotta take this easy. I gotta rebuild my back up. But I knew that I had it in me. I knew that this is who I am. I knew that this is how I roll. I just had to let him hang for a little bit and then get right back to it. Let's get this shit, dog. Yo, I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, claiming victory for every single wide open warrior that's out there. My brother, this is your wake-up call. Break the chains, step out of the average, and become that badass motherfucker that you were born to be. This Live Wide Open movement isn't just a podcast. This is a mission that God has stamped in my heart, and helping you rise is the purpose I live for. So lock this shit in and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. Yo, and if today's message lit that fire in your chest, then don't you dare keep this shit to yourself. Fuel another brother. Send this to another motorhead. Send this to another gearhead. Send this to another warrior who's hungry for more. Because the truth of the matter is that building a better life for your family is non-fucking negotiable. You got people who are depending on you. You've got a legacy that you need to create. And those excuses that keep popping up in your mind, my bro, they're never going to feed the fucking table. That's why it's time to get up. It's time to lock in. And it's time to get to fucking work, dog. This is your moment. This is your mission. This is your movement. And Wide Open is the fucking way. Let's go.